I'm Michelle Mikes, the K-12 Mathematics Supervisor for the Cobb County School District. Our district is committed to helping students succeed, and you as parents are an integral part of this process. To help keep you informed about what your child is learning in our math classrooms, we are excited to provide you with these informational videos on concepts taught throughout the school year. Thank you for taking the time to discover ways to support your students' learning.
Welcome to the first grade Unit 2 parent video. My name is Karen Harrison. I am a teacher at Nickajack Elementary in Smyrna. Today we are going to discuss the components of the first grade Unit 2 entitled Developing Base 10 Number Sense. The first areas we will look at in Unit 2 are counting to 120 starting at any number, understanding that the two digits of a two-digit number represent the tens and ones within that number, and the understanding that a dime is equal to 10 pennies. First graders are required to count to 120 beginning at any number in the counting sequence. Give your child any number such as 43. Then ask them to count on from that point. Listen for rhythm and pattern as your child counts. 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. They may have a slight pause prior to each of the decade numbers, just as I paused before 50. When working toward the understanding that two digits of a two-digit number represent tens and ones, first graders begin by building models using objects such as these to concretely represent the two-digit numbers. Let's take a moment to explore how first graders might use objects to investigate patterns in the base 10 number system. Linking cubes or other objects that can be connected, such as Legos, can be linked or grouped to indicate sets of 10. To model the number 54 using linking cubes, first graders would build 5 towers or groups of 10 linking cubes. They would then show 4 unlinked cubes to represent the ones. Linking cubes help bring the understanding of how objects are bundled or unitized into sets, and each set represents 10 things or 1 10. Other objects that first graders can bundle include craft sticks or straws that are bundled using rubber bands. 5 bundled sets of straws would represent 5 sets of 10. The 4 remaining straws would represent 4 leftover ones, again to model the number 54. Coins are concrete objects, but the values assigned to them are an abstract concept. It is sometimes a challenge for first graders to use dimes and pennies to represent tens and ones. First graders need to spend lots of time counting out dimes and pennies and trading 10 pennies for 1 dime. Using a 10 frame to count out pennies and then trading those pennies for 1 dime can help a student who might be struggling with this concept. The next areas we will look at in Unit 2 are adding and subtracting numbers within 10 and using addition and subtraction within 10 to solve word problems. First graders develop strategies for addition and subtraction within 10 during Unit 2. They use objects, draw pictures, and finally write equations to represent addition and subtraction problems. Equations are the final, more abstract representation. Let's look at some of the word problems that first graders solve and the strategies that they use. First grade students apply their understanding of adding and subtracting within 10 to solve word problems. This chart shows examples of different word problem situations that first graders work on throughout the year. Students work to put together, take apart, and compare when solving word problems. We will look at word problem examples where the result or whole is unknown, as well as an example where both parts are unknown. These word problems are examples where the result is unknown. The first problem is an add to problem, and the second is a take from problem. Let's look at how first graders would solve these problems early in the year. The first problem says Maria has 4 bananas and 3 apples. How many pieces of fruit does Maria have? First graders could use counters to model what is happening in the problem, counting out 4 counters for the bananas and 3 counters for the apple. First graders might count all of the counters to find out how many pieces of fruit there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maria has 7 pieces of fruit. The second problem is a take from problem. Bailey has 9 pieces of candy. If he gives 6 pieces of candy to his friends, how many pieces of candy will he have left? First graders might use counters again to show the 9 pieces of candy that Bailey has. They would then count and take away 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And take those pieces away and then count what is left. 1, 2, 3. Bailey has 3 pieces of candy left. Another type of word problem situation that first graders solve shows a part-whole relationship. Today we will look at word problems where the whole is unknown or where both parts are unknown. Let's look first at a problem where the whole is unknown. In this problem we are given both parts. Lucas has 6 blue cars and 2 green cars. How many cars does Lucas have? Students could use linking cubes to show Lucas's cars. Here I have 6 cubes linked together to show the 6 blue cars, and I have 2 green cubes linked together to show the green cars. If we join those together, we have Lucas's cars. First graders might count all of those cubes, but they could also use a strategy called counting on. Knowing that Lucas has 6 blue cars, they could start at 6 and count on 2 more, 7, 8, to show that Lucas has 8 cars. Another word problem situation that shows a part-whole relationship is one where both parts are unknown. Let's take a look at a problem that shows both parts unknown. Molly put 10 flowers in a vase. Some were red and some were purple. How many of each color could there be? This problem is interesting when first graders begin to solve it because there's not one correct answer but multiple correct answers. This problem focuses on the number 10. 10 is a very important number in first grade, so a 10 frame would be a great tool for a first grader to use to solve this problem. First graders could use cubes, and they might even use cubes that are the color of the flowers in the problem. They know that when a 10 frame is full, that it shows 10 in all. So they might just fill that 10 frame up with some red and some purple. Here we see that there are 5 red and 5 purple that could be one possible combination of 10. First graders could experiment and take away some of the red and replace with purple to find a second combination. Here we have 4 red and 6 purple. That's another combination of red flowers and purple flowers that Molly could have put in her vase. They can continue experimenting by taking away a red and replacing with purple. Here we have 3 red and 7 purple. That's another combination of flowers that would put 10 in Molly's vase. Students could continue working with the cubes in the 10 frame to find other possible combinations of flowers in Molly's vase. This video is intended as a parent overview of first grade Unit 2, Developing Base 10 Number Sense. It was created for parents with the purpose of providing clarification of first grade math standards covered during this unit.
Thank you for your time. We know that when families and schools work together, student success increases. Please visit the Cobb County Math Department website for additional information and resources to support your student at home.